Listen to me. You don't get to wake up average and expect excellence to chase you. If you want to dominate your day, it starts before the sun even shows up. Champions aren't born when the spotlight is on. They're made in the darkness, in the grind, in the early hours when everybody else is asleep, comfortable, and unaware. You can't expect greatness from a lazy morning. You can't expect results from a chaotic routine. You can't demand success when you haven't even commanded your own day. Master your morning because that's when discipline is either established or destroyed. That's when focus is sharpened or forgot. That's when the average fall back to sleep and the elite rise to conquer. You keep saying you want more out of life, but how are you starting your day? You hitting snooze 5 times? You waking up just in time to scroll social media, check meaningless notifications, and let the world tell you how to feel. Nah, not anymore. That ends today. You gotta wake up with purpose. You gotta command your mindset before your circumstances command you. You gotta own your morning before the world owns your attention. You gotta be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Don't let your day dictate your mood. You dictate the direction. You dictate the temperature. Listen. The difference between average and elite ain't talent. It ain't money, and it ain't luck. It's the level of intentionality you bring to your routine. It's how you position yourself to win. Because how you start determines how you'll sustain. And how you sustain determines whether you'll succeed. If you want to dominate your day, you better start winning the first hour. Every single day. Because your morning is the thermostat for your mindset, your focus, and your grind. So from this day forward, no more sloppy starts. No more weak wake-ups. No more maybe tomorrow. You got today. You got right now. You got breath in your lungs. That's your alarm clock. Master your morning. Dominate your day. Let's get it. Don't hit snooze on your purpose. When that alarm clock goes off, it's not just a sound. It's not just an annoying buzz pulling you from sleep. That's your purpose calling. That's your purpose calling. That's your future asking you what you're going to do today. That's your destiny tapping you on the shoulder saying, it's time, let's move. But what do most people do? They hit snooze. They roll back into comfort. They choose delay. And every time you hit snooze, you're not just delaying your morning, you're delaying your mission. See, people think the snooze button is harmless. Just 5 more minutes, just one more time. Just one more time. But it's not just about sleep. It's about mindset. It's about self-respect. It's about what you're telling your brain. When you hit snooze, you're saying, oh, my comfort is more important than my calling. You're saying, oh, this bed is more valuable than the dreams I said I wanted to chase. You're saying, I'll get to my greatness later. Oh, but greatness doesn't work like that. Purpose doesn't operate on your convenience. Dreams don't respond to laziness. If you want to change your life, you got to start by changing how you respond to that first moment of discomfort. Because it starts small, that one decision, to rise or to roll over. It sets the tone for the entire day. It defines whether you're moving forward or falling behind. It defines whether you're chasing your goals or letting your goals drift further away. Eric Thomas says, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. But what does that really mean? It means you got to treat your purpose like oxygen. You got to treat your vision like survival. And I don't know anybody who's gasping for air and still trying to get 5 more minutes of rest. When life matters, you move. When purpose matters, you rise. When success is non-negotiable, you stop negotiating with your alarm clock. You've got to stop seeing the morning as an interruption and start seeing it as an invitation to lead, an invitation to grow, an invitation to build something that outlives you. When that alarm goes off, you got to say, oh, let's go. You've got to train your brain to associate waking up with winning. Because if you win that first battle, the battle to rise, you're already stacking victories. You're already beating the average. You're already stepping into momentum. The most successful people on this planet, the ones building legacies, not just incomes, they don't sleep through their calling. They don't hit snooze on their responsibilities. They get up early, consistently, relentlessly. Why? Because they've decided that success begins with obedience to discipline. They've trained themselves to respond, not react. To rise, not delay, to dominate, not drift. And don't get it twisted. It's not about being a morning person. That's an excuse. That's a comfort phrase we use to justify bad habits. Being successful doesn't care what kind of a person you are. You think pain cares if you're a night owl. You think destiny cares if you're tired. No. Life will hand you what you demand, not what you hope for. And demanding more starts by giving more. From the moment your feet hit the floor, you've got to make a decision. Every day, the night before, the moment the alarm rings, you got to decide. Am I hitting snooze on my growth? Or am I hitting go on my greatness? Because the truth is, how you treat your mornings reflects how you treat your future. If you keep snoozing now, don't be surprised when your dreams keep snoozing too. Life doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to action. Imagine this. Every morning you wake up, there's a version of you waiting to be activated. The focused you, the disciplined you, the fire-breathing, purpose-driven, unstoppable version of yourself. But that version doesn't get access unless you give it permission. Unless you choose to rise with intention. Unless you reject the snooze and say, I'm up, I'm ready, I'm coming for everything I said I wanted. Let's be real. Most people don't hit snooze because they're physically tired. They hit snooze because they're emotionally disconnected from they forgot what they're chasing. They forgot what's at stake. That's why you need to reconnect every single morning. Before your feet touch the ground, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself what quitting costs. Remind yourself who's counting on you. Remind yourself that every day is a deposit towards your future. You don't get the results without making the investment. And I get it. It's hard. Waking up early hurts. It's uncomfortable. It feels like punishment when you first start. But that pain, that discomfort, that's where discipline is born. That's where separation begins. That's where leaders are forged. Because when you can do what's hard while everyone else does what's easy, you're not just living, you're leveling up. So here's what I'm telling you. From now on, treat your alarm like your mission big. When it rings, it's time to get to work. Time to grind, time to build, time to learn, time to grow. No more snoozing, no more sleeping on your gifts, no more delaying your potential. Wake up with fire, wake up with gratitude, wake up with strategy. Wake up knowing the clock is ticking, and your time to win is now. You've got a choice every morning to stay in bed and dream, or to get up and chase that dream down with everything you've got. One leads to regret, the other to reward. So next time that alarm goes off, don't just wake up. Get up with authority. Move with energy. Rise with purpose. Because every time you choose to get up instead of giving in, you're telling the world, I'm not hitting snooze on my life. I'm ready to dominate my day. Command your mindset before the world commands your attention. That's the principle. That's the rule. That's the standard you got to live by if you want to take your life, your business, your health, your goals to the next level. See, most people wake up and immediately surrender control. They open their eyes and hand their peace, focus, and energy over to the outside world before they even speak life over themselves. They let notifications dictate their mood. They let emails, texts, and timelines guide their thoughts. They let other people's urgency override their own clarity. And they wonder why they feel anxious, overwhelmed, or empty halfway through the day. It's not a mystery. It's math. If you don't control your mind, the world will. You've got to understand this. The most powerful weapon you carry every day is your mindset, not your degree, not your title, not your money, your mindset. Because how you think shapes how you feel. How you feel shapes how you act. And how you act shapes your results. But most people never even give themselves a chance to think intentionally because they let the world think for them. Before they've had one clear thought, their brain is flooded with the chaos of the digital world. They're scrolling instead of reflecting. They're reacting instead of directing. They're consuming junk before they fed their soul anything real. You can't dominate your day with a defeated mind. You can't lead anyone else if you can't even lead yourself. That's why commanding your mindset is non-negotiable. You've got to wake up and get centered before the world comes at you with distractions and demands. You've got to anchor yourself in truth before life tries to pull you in 100 directions. Because, listen to me, the world is noisy. It's aggressive. It's strategic. And if you don't have a plan for your mind, the world does. The algorithm has a plan. The media has a plan. The negativity, the pressure, the opinions, they all have a plan. And their plan is to keep you chasing, comparing, and doubting yourself all day long. unless you stop them before they start. That's why you need a mental routine. I'm not talking about scrolling affirmations on Instagram. I'm talking about a moment of intentional solitude before anything or anyone else has access to you. A moment where you get still and declare who you are, what matters, and how you're going to move today. That might mean meditating. That might mean praying. That might mean journaling, visualizing, or reading something that elevates your spirit. But whatever it is, it has to be done on purpose. Because what you allow into your mind first thing in the morning is either poison or power. You want to win the day? Win your mind first. Set the thermostat in your brain so the rest of your day adjusts to your temperature, not the other way around. You can't afford to start your day in reaction mode. That's what average people do. They wake up and react to life. They get pushed around by circumstances. They get triggered by opinions. They get discouraged by setbacks. But elite people, leader, game changer, they wake up and create life. They decide in advance how they're going to think. They decide what they'll tolerate and what they won't. They decide what they're focused on and what they're letting go. Think about a general going into battle. You think he walks into war with no strategy, no vision, no mental clarity? Of course not. And you're no different. Every single day is a battlefield for your focus, for your confidence, for your peace. You can't walk into that battlefield with a distracted mind and expect to win. You've got to train your thoughts like a soldier. You've got to silence the noise long enough to hear your own direction, because purpose doesn't scream, it whispers. And if your mind is full of chaos, you won't hear it. Too many people are letting their phones parent them, letting media raise their energy, letting strangers on the internet coach their confidence. You've got to reclaim your mental space. Protect it like it's sacred, because it is. Because everything you do flows from it. You can't pour into your goals with a polluted mind. You can't build your dream from a place of mental confusion. You can't show up for your family, your purpose, your mission if your mindset is on autopilot, constantly reacting to the outside world. When you command your mindset, you become proactive instead of reactive. You don't wait for peace, you create it. You don't chase joy, you build it. You don't beg for direction, you lead with vision. And once you establish that, once you train your mind to respond with strength, focus, and clarity, you start to see life differently. Now, obstacles don't scare you. Distractions don't derail you. Criticism doesn't define you, because your mind is already anchored in who you are and what you're doing. And let's be honest, life's going to throw you stuff, challenges, problems, disappointment. But if your mindset is solid, those things won't shake you. You'll bend, but you won't break. You'll feel pressure, but you won't fold. You'll take hits, but you'll keep moving. Because your strength won't come from outside validation. It'll come from internal conviction. That's why the morning matters. Not because the morning is magic, but because the morning is where habits are built. And when you build the habit of commanding your mindset first thing, you start winning battles most people don't even know they're losing. You start saying no to things that used to drain you. You start focusing on what really matters. You start creating before you consume. That one shift, taking back control of your first thoughts, has the power to transform your entire life. You want to be unstoppable? Start here. Start with your thoughts. Start with intention. Start with clarity. Don't give away your mind before you've even given it direction. Don't start your day lost looking for something or someone to guide you. Be your own guide. Speak over yourself. Affirm your identity. Declare your direction. Command your peace. Every morning is a blank page. What you write on starts in your mind. You can either scribble the same confused story every day or write something bold, clear, and intentional. The pen is in your hand, but the writing starts with your mindset. Command it, own it, guard it. Before the world gets a chance to hijack it, you will create with power, discipline, and purpose. But you got to tap into that every day. And it starts the moment you wake up. Not when you check your phone. Not when you get to work. Not when someone else tells you what the day is about. No, it starts with you. Your voice, your vision, your values. Command your mindset. Before the world even knows you're awake, already be locked in. Already be grounded. Already be unshakable. That's how you dominate your day from the inside out. Start with gratitude. Shift your energy before you shift into action. Before the hustle, Before the grind, before the goals, the checklists, the demands, and the pressure, begin with gratitude. Because gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a force. It's the lens that changes how you see everything, and how you see everything determines how you engage with it. You cannot operate at your highest level if you start your day from a place of lack, stress, or entitlement. You can have a million things going for you, but if your mindset is locked into what's missing, what's wrong, or what's hard, you'll move through your day defeated before you even begin. But if you can start your day acknowledging what's good, what's right, what's working, you don't just feel better, you perform better. The problem with so many people is they wake up complaining. They open their eyes and immediately talk about how tired they are, how much they hate Mondays, how stressful the week is going to be, how much they don't want to do what they have to do. What they don't realize is they are programming their brain, their emotions, their body, all before they've even brushed their teeth. And then they carry that energy into their job, their workout, their relationships, and it becomes a heavy cycle. Negativity breeds more negativity. When you wake up complaining, you don't just poison the morning, you poison your potential. But gratitude disrupts that poison. It cuts through anxiety. It shatters negativity. Gratitude says, I may not have everything I want, but I'm going to appreciate everything I've got. It says, I woke up today, I've got air in my lungs, I've got another shot. Gratitude doesn't ignore the hard, it overpowers it. It gives you the strength to face the challenges without collapsing under them. Because gratitude opens your eyes to possibility, and when you see possibility, your energy shifts. Look, there will always be something to complain about. Life will never be perfect. The schedule will never be empty. The path will never be easy. But there will also always be something to be thankful for. There will always be something beautiful that you've been overlooking. There will always be a reason to rise, to fight, to push forward, if you're willing to see it. Gratitude is about what you focus on. That's the key. Because what you focus on expands. Focus on stress. It grows. Focus on problems. They multiply. Focus on blessings, and suddenly you begin to see more of them. That's not wishful thinking. That's neuroscience. Your brain is wired to seek out what it believes is important. So when you deliberately direct your thoughts toward gratitude, your brain starts picking up more reasons to be grateful. It begins building mental pathways around positivity, peace, and joy. That's how people who have gone through unimaginable hardship can still walk in strength and confidence. They've trained their minds to see through the lens of gratitude. You gotta make it part of your routine. I'm not talking about just saying a thing once a year at Thanksgiving or posting something positive when it's convenient. I'm talking about building a discipline of gratitude. Every single morning before the phone, before the news, before the chaos, you sit with your thoughts and declare what you're thankful for. It could be big or small, life-changing or simple. The more specific, the better. Say it out loud. Write it down. Feel it in your body. Let it fill you up. Say, I'm grateful for this breath. I'm grateful for this roof. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful that I get to try again today. Because when you start your day with appreciation, you shift from scarcity to abundance. You stop feeling like life owes you something and you start recognizing how much life has already given you. That mindset creates a fire inside you. Not a desperate grind to prove something, but a passionate drive to honor everything you've been entrusted with. Gratitude also keeps you humble. It reminds you that you're not self-made. It reminds you that everything you have is connected to grace, to sacrifice, to unseen moments of favor. When you recognize that, you stop taking people for granted. You start showing up with more integrity. You lead better. You listen better. You become more present. Because gratitude slows you down enough to recognize the weight of what you talk about energy. You want to be effective? You want to walk into rooms and elevate the atmosphere? Then you need the kind of energy that can't be faked. Comes from a spirit rooted in appreciation. When your heart is full, your presence is felt. When your gratitude is high, your attitude is magnetic. People are drawn to grateful leaders, grateful friends, grateful partners, because it's rare, and anything rare is valuable. You stand out not just because of your skill, but because of the light you carry. And that light is fueled by gratitude. Some people think gratitude is soft, that it's just emotional flow. But they don't understand. Gratitude is a strategy. It's a leadership tool. It's a power move. The most successful people in the world, the ones who build empires, the ones who withstand pressure, the ones who lead with clarity, they don't just wake up and grind. They wake up and align. Gratitude is the alignment. It aligns your energy, your mind, your spirit, your purpose. Now, that doesn't mean everything's perfect. It doesn't mean you don't feel frustration, sadness, or disappointment. But it means you don't live in those feelings. It means you acknowledge them, and then you redirect. You remind yourself that there is still something good. That even on the darkest days, there's still light if you're willing to look for it. You can't wait for life to be amazing to be grateful. You've got to be grateful so that life becomes amazing. That's the shift. Gratitude isn't the reward, it's the catalyst. It turns ordinary into extraordinary, into extraordinary. It takes the same job, the same family, the same routine, and infuses it with meaning, with intention, with joy. And that makes all the difference. So here's the challenge. Every single morning, start with gratitude. Before you pick up your phone, pick up your perspective. Before you dive into doing, sit in being. Ask yourself, what am I thankful for today? What did I take for granted yesterday that I can honor today? Who am I becoming because of what I already had? This is the discipline that changes everything. Gratitude before action, presence before performance, heart before hustle. Shift your energy and then shift into action. Because when you move from a place of fullness, you move with strength. When you move from a place of thankfulness, you move with purpose. That's how you master your morning. That's how you dominate your day. Gratitude first. Everything else flows from there. Eliminate chaos with a solid morning routine. Chaos is the enemy of clarity. When you wake up and immediately fall into disorder, rushing, reacting, scrambling, you are not starting your day. Your day is starting you. You are not leading your life. Your life is leading you. And what most people fail to understand is that the first moments of your morning are sacred. They're not just minutes on the clock. They're the blueprint. They are the silent architects of your success or your stress. A chaotic morning isn't just a bad habit. It's a decision, a dangerous one. Because every rush movement, every misstep, every unplanned moment is like building a house without a foundation. It might stand for a while, but eventually the cracks will show. The stress will build. The burnout will hit. That's why champions, high performers, leaders, people who get things done, they don't just hope to have a good day. They create it on purpose every day through routine. A routine is structure. It's rhythm. It's order in a world that is naturally disordered. Without a morning routine, you're starting the game already down by 10 points. You're playing catch up, and catch up is exhausting. But when you walk in the day already in control, everything changes. You show up different. You think different. You move different. Let me make something clear. This isn't about being robotic. It's not about rigid perfection. It's about owning your time. It's about owning your space. It's about making room for your mind, body, and spirit to align before the world starts asking for pieces of you. And if you don't do that, trust me, someone or something will come and steal your focus. Your phone, your job, the news, the noise. Chaos doesn't wait for an invitation. It walks right in if you leave the door open. A solid morning routine slams that door shut. Let's break it down. What does a solid morning routine really mean? It means you wake up with a plan. You don't let the clock or the calendar dictate your energy. You've already decided how your day is going to begin. Maybe it's silence, maybe it's prayer or meditation, maybe it's stretching or walking, maybe it's journaling or reading, maybe it's drinking water and taking 10 deep breaths before your mind starts racing. But the key is that it's yours. It's deliberate. It's designed to fuel you, not drain you. You don't stumble into a good day. You rise into one. And the beauty of a routine is that it builds momentum. You don't have to feel motivated every morning when you got systems in place that guide you into action. Your body knows what to do. Your mind gets trained. Your spirit wakes up. Think of your routine like a runway. Planes don't take off in chaos. They don't just jump into the air. They build speed. They align. They gain momentum. And we then lift off. That's what your routine does. It gets you off the ground with power instead of panic. Now let's talk about time. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, I don't have time for a morning routine. You don't have time not to. The cost of chaos is higher than the price of discipline. Every unstructured morning robs you of energy, focus, peace, and effectiveness later in the day. And once you start falling behind, the day turns into survival instead of success. Even 20, 30 minutes of intentional routine can transform your life. It's not about how long it is. It's about how consistent and focused it is. And once you feel the difference between chaotic mornings and grounding ones, you'll never go back. You'll protect that time like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your health, your peace, your relationships, your goals, they all grow from the seeds you plant in the first hour of your day. And here's something powerful. When you create order in the morning, you build confidence. You prove to yourself before the world even sees you that you're capable of showing up with intention. You build trust in your own ability to lead yourself. And that trust becomes strength. Because confidence isn't built in public. It's built in private, in the quiet moments, in the discipline of doing what you said you do, even when nobody's watching. Let's get practical. How do you eliminate chaos and build a routine? First, wake up before the world does. Give yourself margin. Waking up 5 minutes before your responsibilities start is not a routine. It's a recipe for stress. Create a window where your only job is to get your mind and spirit right. Second, simplify. Don't try to fit 10 new habits into your morning. Start small. Pick 3, 4 core actions that align with who you want to become. Hydrate, reflect, move, breathe, read. Right, just start. Progress is built through consistency, not complexity. Third, remove distraction. That means your phone doesn't belong in your hand during your first moments of the day. Notification, social media, text, they can wait. They are someone else's agenda. Your first minutes belong to your mission. Make it non-negotiable. Your morning routine isn't optional. It's not something you do when it's convenient. It's something you protect like your future depends on it. Because it does. Build it into your identity. This is what I do. This is who I am. Fifth, adjust when needed, but never abandon. Life changes, seasons shift. Kids, travel, deadlines, they'll come. But don't let that be an excuse to fall back into chaos. Adapt your routine. Make it shorter if needed. Make it simpler. But never stop being intentional. Because when you lose your routine, you lose your rhythm. And when you lose your rhythm, you start drifting. And let's be real, drifting is dangerous. Drifting feels harmless at first. You skip one day, then 2, then a week. And soon the peace you once had is replaced by pressure. The focus you once had is replaced by frustration. The confidence you once had is replaced by confusion. That's the slow fade. That's what happens when you stop commanding your morning. Well, you don't have to live like that. You don't have to settle for chaos. You don't have to keep waking up behind schedule, behind on your goals, behind on your peace. You can reset, you can rebuild, you can reclaim your power one morning at a time. And when you do, everything changes. You become more grounded, more focused, more powerful. You start leading your life instead of reacting to it. You start walking in the rooms differently because you already won the first hour of your day. And that win creates a ripple effect. You're more patient, more creative, more driven. Not because life is easier, but because you're stronger. That strength comes from order, from discipline, from routine. So here's the truth. Your morning isn't just about how you wake up. It's about who you wake up as. Are you waking up in chaos? Or are you waking up in control? Are you starting in panic? Or are you starting with peace? Are you reacting? Or are you leading? The choice is yours. Every single day, eliminate the chaos. Build a routine. Own your morning, and you'll start owning your life. Attack your top goal early. Win before the world wakes up. That's not just a productivity hack. That's a lifestyle. That's a mindset that separates the average from the elite. See, too many people spend their entire day putting out fires, responding to emails, running errands, handling other people's emergencies, attending meetings, replying to texts, scrolling social media. And at the end of the day, they look up and realize they never got to the one thing that actually mattered to them, the main project. The goal that could change everything, that goal gets pushed to tomorrow. And tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year. Then regret sets in, and you wonder where the time went. You have to understand, time is not something you are finding, it's something you take. And the best time to take it is in the early hours. Why? Because in the early morning, the world is quiet. The distractions are minimal. The demands haven't piled up yet. Nobody is emailing you, nobody is calling you, and nobody is calling you, and nobody expects anything from you. That space is sacred. That window is where focus lives. That's where breakthroughs happen. Not in the chaos of the afternoon, not in the exhaustion of the evening, but in the intentional discipline of early execution. When you attack your top goal first, you take control of your day before the day takes control of you. You make progress before resistance even wakes up. You build confidence before doubt gets a chance to whisper. You start stacking wins early, those wins create momentum. Momentum creates belief. Momentum creates action. Again and again. Think about this. What's the one thing you keep saying you want to do? Write a book, launch a business, get in shape, start that podcast, learn that skill. That thing you keep putting off, that's your top goal. That's the mission that needs your highest energy, your sharpest focus, your deepest intent. And guess when your energy is at its highest, your focus at its sharpest, your attention at its clearest? Right after you wake up. Not after work, not after dinner, not after Netflix, right now. First thing, but here's the problem. We give our best hours to things that don't matter. We wake up and immediately go into reaction mode. We check our phones, scroll through apps, read headlines that drain our mood, and then wonder why we feel anxious before we've even had breakfast. Then we go through the day putting our dreams on the back burner while we prioritize everything and everyone else. That's not discipline. That's delay. That's procrastination disguised as being busy. So here's the solution. Every single day, before the rest of the world gets a piece of you, you give your top goal the best of you. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait until you will feel like it. You show up, you sit down, you focus, you build. You push forward, even if it's just for 30 minutes, even if it's just one small step. Because small steps in the right direction every morning add up to big victories over time. You have to make it non-negotiable. Just like brushing your teeth, just like going to work, just like eating meals. This becomes part of who you are. You wake up with purpose. You wake up with a plan. You say, before anyone asks anything of me, I'm going to invest in me. I'm going to work on the thing that moves the needle in my life. And that kind of discipline compounds. You start becoming the kind of person who keeps promises to yourself. You start building self-respect. You start believing that you can do hard things. There's something powerful about winning early. It sets the tone for your entire day. When you do something meaningful before the sun rises, the rest of the day feels lighter. You walk with more confidence. You approach problems with more patience. You don't feel behind. You feel ahead. And that mindset changes how you lead, how you work, how you live. Look, the world is loud. It's full of distractions, temptations, and responsibilities. And if you don't intentionally carve out time for your top goal, it will always be drowned out by lesser priorities. That's why early mornings matter. That's why getting up an hour earlier matters. It's not about being a morning person. It's about being a purpose-driven person. It's about putting the important before the urgent. It's about building the life you said you wanted. Not just dreaming about it, but doing something about it. You have to treat that morning time like gold. Guard it. Protect it. Don't let anything or anyone interrupt it. Turn off your phone. Close the door. Eliminate noise. This is your zone. This is where the work gets done. Where the vision gets clear. Where the impossible starts to look possible. And don't let perfection stop you. You don't need the perfect space, the perfect mood, the perfect conditions. You just need to show up consistently. That's the secret. Show up for your goal like it's a meeting with your future. Because it is. Every page you write, every rep you do, every idea you build, that's your legacy forming in real time. That's your dream showing signs of life. And the more you feed it, the more it grows. Let this be the year you stop saying, I'll do it later, and start saying, I'm doing it now. Let this be the season where your discipline speaks louder than your excuse, where your morning habits build the life your late night dreams keep begging for. Let this be the time you rise early, take ownership, and move with urgency toward what matters most. Because the truth is, the world will always try to take your time. It'll always throw more distractions, more obligations, more reasons to delay. But if you own your morning, even just 1 hour of it, you reclaim your power. You prove to yourself that your goals are worth it, that you are worth it, and you are. So wake up with intention, wake up with vision, and every single morning before the world wakes up, before the noise begins, before doubt tries to enter your mind, attack your top goal, own that first hour, build what matters, win early. Because when you win early, you build a winning life.